This is graphing linear equations in slope-intercept form. The x-intercept is the x-coordinate of the point where the line crosses the x-axis, and it always occurs when y equals 0, because along the x-axis, all the points, all the x-coordinates are paired with a y-coordinate of 0. We have 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, and so on. So wherever the line crosses the x-axis, that x-coordinate is referred to as our x-intercept. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate where the line crosses the y-axis, and it always occurs where x equals 0, because all lines on the y-axis are paired with an x-coordinate of 0. We've got 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, and so on. So where the line crosses the y-axis, this y-coordinate is referred to as the y-intercept. When an equation is in slope-intercept form, it represents a linear equation in the form y equals mx plus b, where the letter m stands for the slope of your line and the letter b stands for the y-intercept of the line. So in the form y equals mx plus b, m is your slope and b is the y-intercept. So let's take a look at a couple of equations and try to identify the slope and the y-intercept from looking at the equation. So the equation has to be in this format, y equals mx plus b. So here we have an equation. I have a y value times x, except it's minus 2. So I'm going to change this to y equals negative 4x plus negative 2. So I'm adding the opposite. Now I can identify the slope and the y-intercept because my equation is in this form. The slope is the number I'm multiplying my x by, so negative 4 is my slope. The y-intercept is the number that I'm adding to my x value. So my y-intercept here is negative 2. In this case, in order to get my equation in this format, I'm going to have to add 5 to each side so that my y value is by itself. So here my minus 5 and plus 5 cancel out, and I'm left with y equals 3 over 2x plus 5. So the number I'm multiplying by x is my slope, my 3/2, and the number I'm adding to the x value is my y-intercept, 5. Let's try graphing a linear equation from its equation. So here I have y equals negative 3x plus 3. So the first thing I'm going to do is identify the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope here is negative 3. That's my number I'm multiplying by x. And my y-intercept is 3. So in order to figure out what this equation looks like on the graph, I'm going to start by plotting the y-intercept. So I'm going to go to the y-axis and find 3, positive 3. It's right up here. Now my slope is negative 3, or another way of writing this is negative 3 over 1. The slope is like directions. It tells me to go down 3 to the right 1. So I'm going to go down 3 and to the right 1. I can do that again, down 3, right 1. And if I connect these dots, I'll have my line. Now they want me to find the x-intercept. So it's crossing the x-axis right here where x equals 1. So my x-intercept is positive 1. Let's look here at a real-life problem. So the cost, y, in dollars of taking a taxi cab x miles is y equals 2.5x plus 2. And they're asking us to graph the equation. Well, the first thing I have to do on my graph is label my graph. So x stands for my miles. So down here, the x-axis, these are miles. And my y-axis stands for the cost I'm going to pay for my taxi ride in dollars. So this is my cost. Now down here I'm going to count by ones. So I'm just going to label 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on my y-axis, since I know I'm going to be going up rather quickly, I'm going to count by twos. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. So if I take the taxi cab 0 miles, I'm actually going to be paying $2. If I plug in 0, 2.5 times 0 is 0 plus 2. So just to get in that taxi cab, it's costing me $2. I haven't even gone anywhere yet. Once we travel 1 mile, if I plug in 1 here, I'm paying $4.50. So right about here. After 2 miles, I'm paying $7. After 3 miles, I'm paying $9.50. And I'm just plugging these in here. After 4 miles, I'm paying $12. And I can connect these dots. And there's my line of what I'm paying. And it would keep going if my graph was longer. So they want me to interpret the y-intercept and the slope here. Well, the slope is 2.5, which basically means that it's costing me $2.50 per mile when I'm in this taxi cab. For every mile I go, my line is jumping up $2.50. The y-intercept is 2. And that represents an initial fee. There's a charge just for getting in the taxi and using the taxi cab services. So there's an initial fee of $2, which means even though I haven't even traveled anywhere yet, as soon as I get in that cab, I'm paying $2.